All right. I'm still hearing the 30-second countdown clock, but I'm guessing that you guys are hearing me. Can I see a comment in there if anyone can hear me? Okay. And we're off. Welcome, everybody. Founders Live Chicago is back after a year-long COVID-induced absence. Some of you may have attended these events back. I'm gonna have to bail on these. All right, still good? Okay. All right, Founders Live Chicago, we're back, everybody. Let's see how we can kick things off. I'm used to these events being live. I attended a bunch of these in 2017, 2018, met a bunch of people, loved the informal, laid-back style of networking. There's just this cool nature about it with the fast-moving pitch competitions, 4 minutes of Q&A, where there was none of this awkwardness, nothing. I'm not sitting back on my phone and bored watching panelists talk for an hour, what many of these other events were. So, I think this is going to be a pretty enjoyable night for everybody. That's the hope, at least. That's the goal here with Founders Live. So welcome, everybody. Quickly, if we can hear from a few people, where people are joining us from. I assume most of you are from Chicago, but here and there we get people from all over the world. So let's see what we have. Give you guys a few seconds to comment. Otherwise, I will jump right in. Who we have coming on first is Leandro from M25. He's a VC analyst, and we're going to bring Leandro on to answer a few questions, just chat about what the VC world looks like from his seat. And then we're going to have Kea come on to talk about what raising capital and getting a foot in the door with a VC looks like from the founder seat. I, of course, as some of you may know, I'm a startup attorney, so I'm kind of behind the scenes on a lot of these deals, and I see the interaction between startups and VCs, but it's from a totally different perspective. So it's going to be great to hear, and it's a learning experience for me every time I hear from founders or VCs the do's and don'ts of their their line of work. So let's see what Leandro has to say, and of course, feel free to throw some questions in the comments.
Hey, Mark.
¿Qué onda? What's up, man?
Chambeando, you know how it is.
No, we got to speak English here. But Leandro and I met at, it was Fun Conference, remember? Yeah, so we were at a Fun Conference dinner, and we quickly hit it off and got to talking and had a good relationship ever since. Thanks for coming. Really appreciate your time here. Let's jump in to the questions, shall we? One question
Let's do it.
I did want to ask you right off the bat, and I think that a lot of founders are sitting there wondering as they jump into their venture and realize that they're probably going to need some capital. So what does a VC look for? How do they source startups? How does a file come across your desk? What is it that you do at M25, right? And how does that relationship get sparked before you get into vetting whether that's someone you want to invest in? How does it even begin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that can be many routes, actually. So a good amount of founders and startups that we see come through would come through, let's say, like cold emails. So whether it's reaching out to myself through my M25 email or submitting their information and pitch on our site, like a lot of VCs, and it's been a growing trend for at least the last decade, where more and more VCs are open to those cold outreaches, just because not everyone knows someone in VC for a warm intro and things like that, especially diverse founders, which that's a whole other topic there. But that's one of the main routes, as well as warm intros is still a very popular way. So, for example, we at M25, we have made strong relationships with founders that we've backed, founders that we didn't back, community champions, incubators, accelerators, other VCs across the Midwest, which is the region that we specifically invest in, only the Midwest. So we get a lot of inbound from them as well, saying like, hey, like so-and-so is working on something cool. Let's, you might want to take a look at it. And then, we should see like a pitch deck or maybe a one-pager sometimes, and, kind of screen and evaluate and see whether it's something that we want to dig into further. And if so, have an intro call with the founder where the main thing that I'm trying to do would be to get a holistic understanding of the founder, the team, the product, market, traction, terms, etc., to see if this is something that we want to dig further in. Because as you may or may not know, VC firms will see like thousands of deals a year to invest in, like 5 to 15 a year, depending on the firm. Or at M25, we'll try to aim to invest in like 15 companies a year.
Nice. Yeah. Well, it's something interesting that I immediately picked up on was that you said cold emailing is becoming a thing. And I think that's a lot of people out there think that they need to have a relationship. They need to have connections. They need to know somebody to get any venture capital investments or really any investments, really, go anywhere in their professional careers. There's this mentality of you need to know somebody. So are you saying that there's, slowly increasing acceptance of these cold emails, or is there an even split of you guys vetting startups that cold email you versus a lead that you get from some trusted referral source?
So as an industry, VC is becoming more and more open to, or more accepting, and I guess like encouraging of cold emails. There are still some firms that are like, hey, like you can't get an intro email to us, then that tells us a lot. Like, I don't know, maybe you wouldn't be that great at sales or developing relationships. Like M25 is not like that, but like that's how some firms are, or at least that was a lot more common, even just a few years ago. But yeah, now it's more accepted by more and more firms to do so. And at least, at our firm, like we'll look at it, any opportunity that comes our way. Like if it's a cold email, a warm email, warm intro, or just something that I see online and I reach out to the founder myself, like, we'll consider them all with, the same rigor, same merit, and same, shot, essentially.
Nice. Okay, that's good to know. I think that's good news for people. All right, next question for you. What are some red flags that you see with pre-seed and seed stage companies? What's a hard no-no that you see in companies in your first call, maybe in their email, their cold email to you? What's the stuff that really turns VCs off that startups and founders tuning in today should not do?
Mm-hmm. So like beyond the like I guess social norms of like what a good email is innocent, and what to include in the deck and stuff like that. Like the real things that I want to like highlight in terms of like potential red flags would be like, and most people don't do these things, but just one of those things that you just kind of have to say just in case, right? Which is to answer your question, which it's probably the main red flag would be if during our conversations, or as we dig further, or even in due diligence, we learned that the founder had exaggerated something important. So, for example, maybe they said that they had a lot more annual recurring revenue than they did, but it turns out that was actually like revenue to date for the last 4 years. When we specifically asked if that was for that that year or so, or turns out that they are only in like procurement stages or in talks with a big potential customer, as opposed to them already being a paying customer for a couple of quarters and loving it. A very big difference, especially at an early stage where maybe that's just a handful of enterprise clients, especially. So kind of like anything like that where it's like, oh man, like now I'm kind of questioning everything. I have to kind of question everything else that I I've heard from or interacted with the founder, because it's like, that level of trust gets diminished, and we're trying to build this like 10+ year relationship with founders that we may end up investing with, right? That we invest in. So trust is key. And then besides that, something I'll just like hit on quickly for the sake of time. I'd say that some other ones to look out for would be like, or that we kind of look out for, or would be red flags to VCs in general, would be like, if the founder is like too self-sure about their projections, or that they will definitely hit these things, or milestones or certain revenue marks or whatever, in like the next 3-4 years, like no one can predict the future, and if anything is probably going to happen in the startup world, is that projections are going to be wrong. So just one of those things where like that what that invariably shows would be maybe like, or kind of puts in our head like, maybe this founder won't be as flexible or be able to pivot if need be, or things don't go perfect, have that resiliency. So things like that. And then maybe like not knowing the market or competitive landscape very well, like especially if it's something that's like, I Google the competitors and it's like, you don't know they exist, like, that's a pretty bad sign.
So we talked a lot about what they shouldn't do. We might want to shift gears to hear what founders should do. But I totally get that. I've definitely been in conversations with founders that are just so sure of how much capital they're going to raise, when they're going to raise it, how they're going to raise it. And that's just not the landscape that they're working in. It's not going to go that way. It's not going to happen in 12 months, right? They think a deal can close overnight, but in reality, it takes months. So yeah, let's hear what qualities VCs do like to see in founders.
Yeah, for sure. So let's see if, not an exhaustive list, but some of the things that VCs really like founders to demonstrate is, well, one, that you're all in, you're about this life, and you're doing the work, meaning that especially early stage, maybe pre-seed and seed, heck, maybe even if you're just working your MVP, it's showing that you're doing the work in terms of talking with potential customers, getting feedback, iterating on, using all of that to reiterate on your product or service, and executing and making things happen. That those are good, like obviously good for progressing as you're trying to build up your company, but also it's a good like both past and future indicator for us, as well as when founders show coachability. There's levels to this game, and I guess like one of the good things about being on this side of the table is that you see a lot of founders, you see a lot of ways that they do things, and you see a lot of them, and you see a lot of the reasons why some of them didn't become successful that maybe you invested in or were close with 4 years ago, and then you see something that did. So hopefully as VCs, we're able to help them look around the corner of the issues that will come up in the future. And some things, when founders show coachability and they say they're going to do something, and they come back to us a couple months later because it wasn't like a good fit at the time, and they've accomplished what they said they were going to do, like that's an awesome mark. It's like, hey, like, yeah, I'm gonna launch this feature, I'm going to talk to this many customers, or my goal is to get to this much revenue, and then they crush it. It's like, wow, like they did all this, and the maybe limited resources that they have, like just imagine what they can do for a solid round of funding and like good strategic partners around the table. So all of that, and then knowing the market and competitors well, being able to communicate the problem that they're tackling, the pain point, their solution, and their big vision, because storytelling is such a big thing that will it's not always the CEO's job, but usually it will be, especially for a VC-backed company, going out there and landing, maybe leading sales if it's in their wheelhouse, but handling the funding conversations, recruiting team members, especially that's going to be crucial in those first few years when it's just the founders and maybe a few others. So that's kind of some of the main aspects we look for.
I think storytelling is what it's all about, right? That's what you want to hear. That's what when I'm getting introduced to a founder, I think that's what is going to sell people and going to get somebody to pay attention and consider a professional relationship with you, a partnership and investment, right? Being able to tell your story. So on that note, let's hear someone's story. It's a longtime serial entrepreneur, someone I met probably 5 years ago at a similar event, just like Founders Live. in Chicago. So Leonardo, thank you very much. Stick around. We'll talk to you in the networking after hour. Sound good?
Sounds good. See you there, everyone.
See ya.
Hey, everyone. I was just going to introduce myself.
Do it.
All right, I'm Kaya. I'm the founder of SwayPay. We are on a mission to democratize influencer perks for everybody. Our first product is a cashback app that lets you earn up to 100% cashback at various retailers like Nike, ThredUp, Fenty, Apple, and some other retailers by posting your purchases on TikTok, and then based off of the performance of your posts, you're able to earn anywhere between 5 to 100% cash back. Our goal is to reroute marketing dollars from platforms and influencers to shoppers themselves, and essentially just increase purchasing power, especially for like Gen Z shoppers. Like Mark, we met a long time ago, 5 or 6 years ago. At the time, I had graduated, or I don't know if we met that early, but when I graduated college, I had actually gotten my first startup stint on Shark Tank. I invented like a physical product and made my way to Shark Tank with it. It was my first kind of induction into what it's like to build a company. That episode ended up going viral, and I was just really inspired by that moment to continue to try to recreate it for a bunch of other products. And that led me down this path of trying to leverage social influences as a currency, essentially, for several years, for several businesses. I built a bunch of e-commerce businesses with celebrities, including Derek Rose, Steve Harvey, Vic Mensa, some influencers, like a famous French bulldog in Chicago, actually.
Slow down real quick. What are the products? I'm curious. I know I've been told about you. You've started e-commerce brands that I'm mixing them up. What was that Shark Tank one? What was it?
It was a collapsible storage box that didn't need assembly. So it was like a busy box, basically a storage box that just kind of folds flat.
So brilliant.
And actually, it's so crazy. I just sold my very last bit of inventory that I was holding on because that was my first ever baby. And I sold it. It was a little sad, a little bittersweet. But
where were you selling? Because it's been years now, right? So did you have a storage?
Sold it.
Manage online sales?
Well, I had like a bunch of inventory at my grandparents' house that I was just holding on to, and so I just finally like sold it to an actual retailer.
Nice. And what's the story with Derek Rose? That one definitely got my attention.
So I went up to him one day, and instead of asking him for a picture, I asked him to start a company with me. And at the time, his son's face had gone viral from the playoffs. I don't know if you remember that, like back in 20.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah, there was like a meme. His kid's face was memed. And so we created a bunch of merch with his son's face on it, which was pretty fun.
All right. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think people are definitely wondering when you're starting e-commerce brand after e-commerce brand, but what are these products, and how did you end up here with SwayPay? So there was definitely some transition, right? That's not the same universe with e-commerce as it is for tech startups, and I think most of our competitors here today are your more traditional tech startup. No physical product being sold. So were you able to? Were those skills easy to translate into the tech world, right? Have you run into any hurdles, any oh shit moments, as someone calls them?
Yeah, so the transition was actually pretty smooth. I had the thing that made my businesses the most successful was this mechanism I had created for my storefronts, where I was accepting social posts as currency for my storefronts. So in a very hacky way, I had created this mechanism to do that, and it just created this self-sustaining engine for my Shopify stores. And then I, was living in Chicago, hadn't really learned anything about the tech world. Didn't at the time know that even like tech startups were a thing, and then started learning about it and decided that there was an opportunity for me to potentially spin that mechanism that I was talking about, that I was using for my storefronts, out into its own tech platform. And so, and then, try to go do the venture capital path. So kind of like took this idea, this kernel for this idea, massaged it over, a pretty long period of time, went into deep research. And luckily my track record made it relatively easy to dive in and go and like raise VC money.
All right. All right. I'm going to open it up to questions from everybody as we keep talking. So if they pop up in the comments, someone on my back end will pull it up. But SwayPay, I remember you pitching that idea to me some time ago, probably last year. What's that journey been like? Because I understand that you've taken it, it's been quite a journey. I'll let you tell us.
Yeah, so I think like the biggest mistake I made, oh shit moment was, or maybe in retrospect, it wasn't necessarily an isolated moment, but I didn't build it. Am I the reason there's an echo, by the way? I think, can you mute yourself when I'm talking and maybe see if it closes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think that killed the echo. So I think that's good. Okay, cool. So what was I saying? I was saying that, oh God, what was I saying? Wait, did Mark just leave? Can everyone see me?
Oh, you asked me to mute myself to get rid of that echo. And now you've muted yourself.
I'm sorry, everybody. Okay, now you mute yourself, and I can continue.
I think we'll be okay. I'll try my AirPods on soon and see if that keeps.
Okay.
But I heard an incredible static, and I think it's because I had my AirPods in. I think it's because I had a YouTube video open on another browser that was playing.
Okay, cool.
If this is the biggest technical issue that we run into, then we're in good shape. All right.
So I think the biggest mistake I made was starting with the idea and not knowing who I was going to work with. And so while it was very easy for me to raise capital as a solo founder, what was very difficult was actually to get over this hump of building the team that I was going to consistently be able to kind of see this thing to fruition with. And I actually didn't find my technical co-founder until September, and I had started raising in January of 2020, or March of 2020, right when COVID hit. And so I think that was the biggest challenge. The minute that we brought my technical co-founder on, everything else just went super smooth, super slick, super fast. And we just have been on a roll since.
Interesting. It's not a conversation I've been a part of before. Like I said, I'm from this, behind the scenes working the deal flow when you're getting into bed with an investor, but looking for a co-founder. It's an interesting dynamic. What are you looking for, right? What is it that, and how do you find that person? That seems even harder than finding a VC, right?
It is. It's a life partner.
Where do you even go? Yeah.
It's a life partner. It's a marriage. Actually, funny story. I literally proposed to him as I got down on one knee and I made a whole thing out of it. And I made a proposal video. It was actually hysterical. But
as in for marriage or just for the co-founder?
Co-founder thing, of course. Okay. Yeah, literally. Yeah. I proposed to him because it is a marriage, so luckily I had actually met him 5 or 6 years ago as well. And the timing just worked out serendipitously because he had just exited the business that he was working on, and it was actually an influencer marketing platform. So it was really perfect and seamless. And we had the track record with each other, having previously worked with each other, previously been friends with each other. And it luckily worked out in that case.
Yeah. Sounds like
I think find something cold is tough.
I think for a lot of people, the jump from their cushy 9-to-5 into the venture world and starting a company is once they find that person that's equally as passionate about that idea, or if it's a buddy that they've jotting down ideas on a napkin and they decide to jump into it. Okay, it looks like we do have a question here for you.
That's funny. The prep for Shark Tank was me jumping out of a plane, skydiving, and making a hysterical casting video, and that's what got me on the show.
Oh, wow. That's funny. You said no one was going to ask about Shark Tank or really be interested in it, so we're going to plan to breeze right through that, but here we are. You jumped out of a plane to make a casting video, so that's how it works. You make a casting video, you send it to the the people behind Shark Tank, and they call you up for a few rounds of interviews?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, if that's it for the questions, we can jump into the competition here. I'm going to talk through a few things about Founders Live. We're going to hear a word from our sponsors, but I'm going to bring Leandro back on real quick if he's still in the waiting room. Oh, I don't believe he is, because I did want to talk to the two of you for a quick minute, because I think there's a connection there that I wanted to make. Apologize for leaving this M25. Go up. Yeah, looks like he left the room, so we'll have to just connect in the networking hour after the fact. All right. Thanks a lot, Kaya. We'll see you in the networking hour. Hope you stick around.
All right.
All right, everybody. Give me a quick minute to pull up some slides, and we're going to go through a few things on Founders Live. Actually, a quick note here from the founder, Nick Hughes of Founders Live from Seattle.
Hey, Chicago. Hey, how you doing? Hey, it's Nick Hughes, founder and CEO of Founders Live, coming to you not fully live, but just want to say hi. Just want to drop in here and shout out here to Founders Live Chicago. Hey, we're back. We're back in session. So excited. I want to give a shout out to Mark as our new city leader of Founders Live Chicago. Great job. Keep it up. And this is only the beginning of Founders Live coming back into Chicago. And hey, it's been a while since we've had an event. Just want to share with you a couple major things. And look, we're virtual now. The world changed last year. We made a quick transition into our really great online virtual events. You're now seeing that. And because of that, we were able to create Founders Live Primetime, which is our global series competitions that are broken into the regions of the world. We have 5 regions: North America, Latin America, Europe, Africa, and Asia. And basically all the winners from all of our city events around the world go into qualification, and we're looking for the top 25 startups out of the world, 5 in each region, that go on to compete later at the end of the year, global, Founders Live, Primetime North America events, Latin America, and then go into our global competition. So excited. So keep on that. That's because we have virtual events now. And then also keep on a lookout for a new brand coming out of Founders Live, the Inspired Ones, a show that's going to be so cool, weekly live stream show with some really well-known people that you're going to want to listen to and even maybe ask questions. So really excited. Just want to say, hey, everyone, congratulations to the presenting founders that you're pitching tonight. Good luck, and welcome to the Founders Live community and family. So thank you. See you guys later. All right.
All right, and we are back. Nick, appreciate for that message. If you're tuning in from wherever in the world that you are, Nick's also a traveler, not much unlike me. I'm actually based in Chicago there for most of the year, but currently in Panama. Before that, I was in Mexico for a month. Before that, I was in Argentina for 6 months, but basically raised in Chicago and always end up back there, especially in the summer months. All right. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Founders Live, it's a social media platform for startups. You're going to find a massive community of other founders there. And really, as a founder, there's really no other better support system you can find than other founders, especially those that are 2 steps ahead of you, right? There's no one there that can be better to answer your questions. There's no lawyers, there's no consultants, there's no CPAs that are going to know the answers to those questions. They're going to that a founder might know. All right. Yeah. Unfortunately, we're here virtually. It'd be awesome to be live. I got to know these events. I got to really like these events, being live, networking with people. That was, definitely enjoyable for me. A big thing about Founders Live is that this is entertainment. This is supposed to be fun for all of us. And then education. Another big core value here is that we're getting educated by these founders here. We're educating ourselves through their experiences and through interaction and discussion with them. All right. Yep. Like I said, it's a social media platform. Here's some of the features that you're going to find there. You're going to find useful articles. You're going to find discussions on the types of issues, the types of problems that founders are having. right? And if you're looking for a co-founder, this might be, the perfect platform to find them on. Entrepreneurs that haven't yet jumped into their venture are probably going to be hanging around here. All right, for our monthly events. So they were monthly when COVID started. They kind of toned it down. It's first a lot of the events may have dropped off for a bit, and then we switched to a virtual platform. And now it's going to be every 2 months or 3 months. So these monthly events, what do they consist of? We have our viewers here on YouTube tuning in live. We have 4 companies in this instance, and they're each going to pitch for 99 seconds. All right, it's a quick pitch. It's really your elevator pitch. Everyone's going to have to really cut down in their deck and find what about their message, what about their story people want to hear most. All right, what's going to engage someone? What's going to kick off that conversation for the after hours networking event? And then we're going to have 4 minutes of Q&A. Right, we're really encouraging discussion here. So ask whatever the question is that comes on your mind when they're pitching their startups. And another really cool part is that you, the audience, vote for the winner. Right, we're going to have a QR code up on the screen. You're going to scan that, and you're going to pick after all the competitors pitch. You're going to pick who the winner is, and that competitor is going to get some perks from our sponsors, from AWS and Google, which I'll talk about in a second. All right. Like I said, Next Generation Founders Live, it's all virtual now. And I think there's a lot of cool aspects about it being virtual. So we're closed off here, our 30 minutes of entertainment. We're about to kick off our 60-minute pitch competition with the 4 startups. It's likely going to be something like 40, 45 minutes. And then I definitely encourage you guys to meet us in Kumo space for a happy hour after the fact. Drink a virtual glass of wine and hopefully have a real glass of wine next to you. It's an awesome space that you can network in. It's not like a big Zoom meeting, and that's what I originally assumed it would be when I started attending these virtual events. But you're actually like hanging out in a lounge with a bar, a pool table, a piano, and you hover your little avatar with this halo around you to separate sections of the room, and you're only talking and interacting with the people that are within your sphere there. Right. So, and it's something that it just, occurred to me immediately was that it's a lot easier to leave a conversation and go to the next conversation in this virtual room than it is in real networking events sometimes. I don't know if anyone else has experienced that, but that's a funny dynamic that you run into at real networking events. All right, performance, competition, and networking. All right. Here are the core tenets of Founders Live. Announcing Founders Live Primetime. Thanks, Nick. He did that for me. But yeah, Founders Live has grown. It used to just be in these individual cities. Now it's a global event with global competition with winners of every city, move on to a regional event, and then ultimately to a global event. So we're in North America, Latin America, Europe, Africa, and Asia. So 5 events, 5 winners, followed by 1 global event and 1 world champion. That date should not apply here. I apologize. We'll have to recirculate a date for the 2021. All right. So as you may know, Founders Live started in Seattle. Nick is from Seattle, and this is where this was all born. And now we are in 60 plus cities all around the world. And it was an awesome accomplishment to get Kampala, Uganda as our 65th city. If anyone out there is interested in starting in their own city or country, reach out to me or Nick. You'll find on the Founders Live website an option to submit an application, and yeah, you can hit the ground running if your city doesn't already have it. 4 core values. Here we go. Respectful authenticity. Yeah, we definitely want this to be laid back. We want this to be real. Everyone can be included. That's why we're not trying to have this just be, between me and the competitors, right? We don't want to give anyone 15, 20 minutes to pitch. We want this to be a discussion, right? And it's going to have to be a respectful one too. And that's how everyone feels, included and feels open and can share and drop down any walls. Gather around the campfire. Here we are back to this principle of storytelling. This is how we get to enjoy what we do. Business doesn't have to be all boring. Business doesn't have to be very serious, right? You really are just storytelling and interacting with others. Open the door, right? So we're in this community, we're in this social network, right, of founders. It's all about opening doors. And I think you'll find that the more that you go to these events, and it's, not very difficult. You go to an event with 30 people, you're definitely going to come out of there with some valuable connections. It's, every time that I've gone, you feel like it might be, a loss, or you're spending time doing something, not terribly productive. For me, I'm an attorney, so I could be billing hours, but instead I'm going to a networking event. But you make awesome connections there, awesome clients. And it's this thing that, I love about my job, is having, the relationship with clients and founders. No name tags. Yeah. We don't want to be part of that awkwardness. That's how we're trying to differentiate from those other events out there. All right. From our sponsors, here's who we have. Hello, Google Cloud, AWS, and my firm, Litwin Law. Here we have AWS. Everyone for presenting here gets $5,000 in AWS credits. You get $10,000 if you win. And here are the numbers of what you get for winning and participating in Google Cloud. All right, let's pull up the speakers one at a time, or maybe all at a time, have them introduce themselves before the competition kicks off. Here we have Brian from Rowley coming in. Coming in hot, Brian. Say what's up.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Excited to be here.
All right, I think that next we'll skip to Blowout. Number 3, Manit.
Hi everyone, I'm
What's
Manit.
going on, man? All right, sorry I skipped you, Katie. It seemed like your screen had gone dark, but there you are.
Hi everyone, I'm Katie Deutschel from mHealth.
Nice. Last but not least, we got Shane Mulroney.
Thanks, Mark. Hi, everybody.
All right. Now, a word from our sponsor, and we'll kick off the competition.
Hey guys, my name is Chris Roque. I'm the CEO of Aloha, and we're the most seamless way to do software development outsourcing for startups. We've developed a set of proprietary tools, infrastructure, and process, and basically have become the software development outsourcing experts over the last four or 5 years, so you guys don't have to be. So you guys can focus on your business, and we take care of the software development. You go with us if you want to hire smarter and scale faster. We basically built out the best tools, infrastructure, and process to make the most seamless experience and de-risk the software outsourcing experience.
Founders Live is the global venue for modern entrepreneurs, especially during these very challenging times. The direct impact of COVID-19 is currently being felt around the world, and it could get worse before it gets better. We are here to help you through these challenging times by connecting you to the people, information, and resources meant to move you forward as you start your next project.
We see an opportunity to bring the resources and capital and connections to the people that need it and the people that can use it, no matter where they live in the world. My honest opinion is, no matter what the economic climate is in the world, Founders Live can be important. In the good times, when it's booming, we're here to help grow companies and have them access capital that's flowing around the world and really be a fun, great event and global platform that powers entrepreneurship. In the tough times, we actually think we can be the answer, given the fact that if people are actually getting laid off and unemployment starts rising, well, the choice to start their own business is front and center, and Founders Live is right there to help them grow. I believe the secret sauce of Founders Live lies in the combination of these 3 words: inspiration, education, and entertainment. Inspiration is rooted in the energy and the passion that every single attendee has. The education is the information that we're bringing to people that they otherwise couldn't find. Founders Live Online helps solve entrepreneurs' daily challenges. If you have a question that you're just wondering, like, I don't know what to do here, you simply need to just type it into Founders Live and someone else will answer it right there for you. And the entertainment is the fun. We believe business should be fun, we believe it should be casual, and we believe it should be inspirational. Founders Live is the perfect place for you to connect with other entrepreneurs and to be inspired.
All right. Here we go, guys. It's showtime. A couple of notes real quick before we kick in. We have, the sidebar here where we'll take questions for the 4 minutes of Q&A. So if you don't see that already in your YouTube channel, go ahead and look off to the right and you'll see where you can type in. And then here is where we'll vote. If you want to scan that, we'll pull this back up after the pitch competition. But if you scan that QR code with your phone, you should pull up a page to vote after the fact. All right, without further ado, let's get Brian back on stage. All right, Brian.
All right. Perfect.
Ready?
So
Your clock is going to start in 3, 2, 1.
all right. So hey everyone, my name is Brian. I'm one of the co-founders of Roamly along with Bonnie Sergevich. So here we are at another virtual event. And while I think many of us can breathe a sigh of relief that it's not through Zoom, we're still behind our computer screens, maybe with some wine glasses hidden out of view of the camera. But these online events are great, and it's safe to say that it doesn't quite replace the impact or the excitement of in-person experiences. So it's never been more difficult for organizations and companies to plan these engaging events. Think of the last in-person networking or team building event you attended, and I'm sure that could be more recent for some of you, but for the most part, that was probably back in 2020 or even 2019. And Zoom and virtual events are a good substitute, but I think we can all agree that it doesn't quite fill the void for everything we used to do pre-pandemic. Fast forward a year from March, when many businesses shut down, organizations are still struggling to find meaningful experiences and events to engage their attendees. So what do? We're a mobile app changing the way companies create experiences during and post-pandemic. We have an AI-based platform that capitalizes on outdoor sites and activities, allowing organizations to create these unique experiences around the world. We design interactive experiences for companies, cities, and all types of organizations that create lasting memories, whether that's growing sponsor revenue or increasing attendee engagement. We have thousands of customizable challenges for scavenger hunts, themed walking tours, and other exciting events. We actually had our most recent event down in Austin, partnering with CASA of Travis County, which involves different challenges and activities. So if you're looking for a new way to travel, explore the world, visit us at roamly.com today.
Well done. 99 seconds on the dot. Impressive. All right. Okay. So you just had your first event already. Okay. So you're operating. You have, you're definitely, are at that stage. Who was your first customer? What went down there in Austin?
Yeah, so it was CASA of Travis County, and there's actually, they're all over the country, but it's basically court-appointed special, right in your department with that legal section where they help children who have either been abused or neglected with a lot of the issues that they face, in court. And so part of the customers we work with are these nonprofits, people looking to do fundraising because obviously with COVID, right, these days of the big galas and these kind of in-person fundraising events hopefully will come back soon, but are not there at least for the near future. So a lot of nonprofits are looking for creative ways to raise money, to engage their community, and still have fun. And so that for us was finding a cool way to do it in Austin, which is obviously a burgeoning tech city as well.
What's the business model here? How do you monetize?
Yeah, so
that. John, we've got John Morse here with a very similar question, the exact same question. Thanks, John.
Yeah, definitely. So we charge per team, essentially. So for example, if you and a group of your friends wanted to go participate in one, like let's say we're working with the Chicago Food Depository in August. So you would sign up for the event, which down in Austin was $29 a ticket. And so then you would participate. And so we generate revenue through that way. And then we also charge the organization hosting the event. So for example, if a company wanted to do a team building event, like an outdoor scavenger hunt, let's say in their city, then they would purchase tickets per team and we customize and build out the whole experience for them. So those are kind of two of the main streams that we work with.
Okay. Yeah, that sums it up pretty well. Got another question here for you. Here's a real buster. How do you differentiate in the crowded event space? More importantly, how do people even find out about you?
Yep, great question. And so there's definitely a few other companies that do something similar where, hey, we'll make these events for you, or we can do these different experiences for different organizations. However, we're really the only one that has a free without a paywall consumer component. So you could download the app, and like just right now, you could go in Chicago and say, hey, I want to see all the haunted sites in Chicago, or I want to see all the famous architectural buildings. And I'm starting in Lincoln Park and want to go down to the Loop. And so there's no paywall for any of this, whereas a lot of these other event apps, if you will, you register for the event, you do it, and that's it. You're never going to touch it again. Whereas we found about 30%, sorry for my dog, about 30% of all users who actually compete in an event will continue to use the app afterwards. So that's kind of how we're a little bit different there. And a lot of just word of mouth, right? It's just us, as people continue to use these events for their companies, for organizations, they'll just hopefully hop on afterwards and just try and explore.
All right, cool. We got 30 seconds left here. Let's see. We got a question here from Nick Hughes. Thanks for joining us, Nick.
Yeah.
What would you say? Yeah, sorry. What would you say you're seeing as new concept and in-person events right now post-COVID?
Yeah, so one of the cool, we're actually working with downtown Dayton, which in Dayton, Ohio. And so a lot of it is every year they do a Dayton adventure hunt where it's like a small business Saturday. They have about 30,000 people come in and ways where local businesses will sponsor challenges of the hunt. And so they didn't do it last year with COVID. A lot of the stuff could be quirky things like, oh, like reach into this bag of coffee grounds. What object is it? And different things like that that'll take you around breweries and coffee shops, things like that. And so we're seeing a lot of this need for people want to communicate, people want to do stuff, and companies who have been remote for so long. I think the virtual events are fun, but again, it's not a pure substitute to what things used to be. So at least we know with COVID being outdoors, that's still a pretty safe alternative, especially as people continue to get vaccinated. So I think these type of walking tours, activity hunts, things like what colleges do for freshman orientation, that's typically what we're seeing now for these in-person events post-COVID that we'll see continue.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Slightly over time. We're going to kick it off to our next presenter here. Appreciate it, Brian. If you pull yourself off the screen, let's get Katie on. Hey, Katie. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
Let's get your banner. I'm not as quick and smooth as I should be on this, but I don't think people mind. Let's get your slides going. All right. If you're ready, we are.
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Okay. I'm sure most of you know someone who has struggled to have a child and needed some help. If not, now you do, because that someone is me. Over the last 6 years, I've done 3 rounds of egg freezing and 7 rounds of IVF. And let me tell you something, the fertility market is big business. In 2017, $7.3 billion was spent on assistive reproductive treatments. But that number only includes 250,000 women who underwent treatment, when the CDC tells us that there are actually 5.4 million women who have an infertility diagnosis. This also doesn't include the millions of women who want to preserve their fertility. This market could be so much bigger, so why aren't more women doing fertility treatments? I'll tell you why. Most of the women that I've spoken to, including myself, knew nothing about fertility treatments when we first started. We spent countless hours on Google and lacked the emotional support. Fertility treatments are also pretty darn expensive. They average about $20,000 per round, and most women need more than 1 round of treatment to be successful. But what if these millions of women had a one-stop shop where they could get fertility education, support, and affordable financing? Now they do. mHealth provides 2 solutions for women and couples throughout their reproductive health journey. Our first solution is Embarrow, which provides community support and affordable financing. Embarrow is live. We have 20 plus members, over $100,000 in financing, and we continue to grow. We make money through the interest income from our members and a service fee with our fertility clinic partners. Our second solution is M-Class, which is content video on demand for all things relating to fertility health. We are currently working on launching M-Class. M-Class is a subscription service, and we charge $180 annually. If you want to learn more about the fertility health market and mHealth, we'd be happy to connect with you.
Amazing. Another impeccably timed pitch. I'm impressed, honestly, both of you.
Up really fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I have heard some buzz, in this market, and I have known that, this is an extremely expensive, extremely difficult to navigate the waters of fertility. What kind of price tag are women looking at that, are faced with this problem and they need to pursue these solutions?
Yeah, so like I said, I can kind of break it down a little bit. So for egg freezing, let's say it costs anywhere from $7,000 to $9,000 per round. For IVF, it costs $12,000 to $15,000 per round, and that doesn't even include the cost of medication, which costs anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 per round. So on average, you're talking about $20,000 per round of treatment. And for me, I went through 7 rounds.
Wow. Okay, so it's not like one round will guarantee you anything.
Exactly, not at all.
Okay. Yeah, and insurance is not going to come in and contribute.
Insurance, it depends on the state that you live in, but there's a lot that insurance will not cover.
I see. Yeah, difficult stuff. How did you decide to jump into this? I know you said you went through it, you had your own story, but what pushed you over the edge to say that, look, I have my job, I can continue doing this, or I can do something that I'm passionate about?
Yeah. So, I mean, throughout my own journey, I started, doing talks with other women to provide support. And, one of the many things that always would come up is, well, I don't really know what to expect, or I don't know much about this treatment, or how am I going to be able to afford this? And, it's just very disheartening to hear these women talk about it and just hear them, say that maybe they won't go through with it because they don't have somebody to talk to. They don't have the support, or they don't have the money to be able to try and have a child. So I wanted to be able to do something about that to help these women and couples.
Yeah, fascinating. You sure are. All right, here we have a question from the audience. What has your traction been since you launched?
Yeah, so we're launched here in Chicago right now. We have 20 plus paying members. We have over $100,000 in financing, and we have partnership agreements with local fertility clinics. So we're continuing to grow.
I think that segues nicely into this question. I'm sorry, there was one more right before that I was referring to. Yeah, how do you sell your value to clinics in order to sign up, right? So that's where how you're generating, and these are the partnerships that you're pursuing.
Yeah, so the clinics actually love us because we facilitate, their business, their treatment, because we provide that support to their patients. We provide that financing, that affordable financing to their patients to be able to do treatment. So we've actually had clinics that have kicked out major financing companies to have us because we provide more benefit to their patients than those other companies do.
So is it fair to say that they're spreading the message for you, right? They're kind of selling for you?
Exactly. So they're also doing our marketing for us.
Interesting. All right. Last but not least, because I certainly admire this, and it sounds like Nick does too. What do you need most right now? How can people help?
We would love to have people contact us to be able to help us spread the word about mHealth, to help us spread the word about the services we're offering. We're also looking for strategic partners.
Fantastic. Okay, that's the time that we have. Appreciate you coming out, and we'll see you in the networking after hour. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, what do we have next? A Blowout coming on. Let's welcome Manit. Let me get your banner here and your slides. There they are. Okay. Manit, whenever you're ready, give me a signal.
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. You're off.
Okay. Hi, everyone. We are Blowout, and my name is Manat Kaushal. I'm the CEO at Blowout Technologies. We saw a problem that event organizers were jumping from one to another platform to explore, organize, manage, and even promote their events. During this pandemic, this actually let event attendees lose up to 70% and 70% interest towards an event. Since there was no one-stop shop for socializing, we created one called Blowout. It helps you with explore, organizing, creating events with communication channels, with easy payment methods, paid events, and money transfers. Our solution for event organizers was that something that takes them more than 2 hours to do, our platform does it in less than 10 minutes. And they also save up to 60 to 70% of their money by making events on Blowout. Our competitions like Facebook events, Eventbrite, and Socio either are too noisy, don't have the right features catering to the user needs, or are paid. Currently, we have our platform out in terms of a mobile application on both iOS and Android, and we are also soon launching an web platform as well. Since our launch a couple months ago, we are in more than 15 universities, multiple high school organizations. Also, we are in 3 countries, India, US, and Canada, and 2 continents. Thank you.
Amazing, well done, and short on time. We appreciate that. That's the idea here. Let's kick it off to 4 minutes of Q&A. Let me pull up this banner. Brian, actually, can I have you do that backstage? So how did you find these universities, and how did you get into other countries? What's this, what's the story there? Sounds like you've already, if you're launching your.
So for event organizers, when we found this problem, we actually started serving them through social media. Not only then we started serving them from United States, but then it went to Canada. We also started serving people from Asia. So once we started serving them and we felt that there was a need of the platform, as soon as we launched our MVP, our beta version, people actually started using it as well. So it all then went from word to mouth marketing.
And I think people want to hear, because we all use Eventbrite to get to this event here today. So what edge do you have on Eventbrite?
So like you see, Eventbrite, first of all, is very costly, and it doesn't have communication platform like you can say emailing or Slack. So you can say we are a combination of Eventbrite and Slack, and we are also soon be launching a Zoom feature so that you can also hold your live events on it as well. So doing communications, selling multiple group tickets all on one platform rather than paying multiple platforms is what gives us more strength.
Yeah, I definitely think that Eventbrite lacks a feature for comments and a message board, right, or chat. It definitely should exist there. It would have been a lot easier for people to ask questions and me to update people on details as they evolve, as the event gets organized. All right, what makes people join Blowout?
So it's the reimagined platform, how everything stays organized, so there's a new scoring system, there's a new trends feed, actually, because of which we have been gaining thousands of more users from these 3 countries. So when people see what kind of events and groups are joining, other people are joining around you, that tends to make people join more and more events and explore out there. And that's been our key feature, why we have been seeing so much growth.
Good stuff. All right, here we have a question about the origin of your idea. What go through that sparked this in your head that I need to go and find a solution to this problem?
Originally I was looking for something that would be make people who are introverts or antisocial to join more events, local events more. And then I started talking about what kind of platforms do we have out there. We did not find efficient platforms, like I said. So we made an MVP. We gave it a try in 1 university. Organizations started loving it, and now we're in more than 15 universities.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations. Sounds like you definitely have some traction. We're going to move on to the next competitor. Good luck, and we'll see you at the after party. All right. Shane, how's it going?
Good. Just trying not to blow the perfect record on timing here.
What edge do you have on Eventbrite? Okay, never mind that. There we go. 3, 2, 1, and you are off.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Shane Mullarooney. I'm the co-founder and head of growth at New Era ADR. We are a tech-driven dispute resolution platform. And what does that mean? So our premise is that courts are broken, legal courts. It takes hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars and years of time to get through legal disputes currently. We have a story here, but no time for it from our founder. Traditional alternative dispute resolution isn't any better than courts. Perhaps you've heard of American Arbitration Association, JAMS. It takes every bit as long and is just as, if not more expensive than going through courts. Just look at these astonishing numbers. $317 billion estimated domestic dispute litigations are disputes spend in 2021. So we are that solution. We're the first fully digital, fully virtual, online dispute resolution platform where parties to a dispute can come, have it resolved in a legally binding manner in a fraction of the time and cost as going to court. How do we do it? We're fully digital. We have simple procedures that are purpose-built for an online platform. We're easy to use, and we're built by legal industry veterans. Myself and my co-founders are all attorneys and former general counsels, tech companies. Who's deciding these disputes? We have a panel of about 1,000 neutrals from across the country, all very experienced, many of them ex-judges. They're the ones mediating and arbitrating the disputes. We connect them to the parties in the dispute through our platform. Quick look at our TAM. Just in 5 years, we could be making $750 million. And then here's our founding team. We've lived it. We're trying to solve it.
There we are. You kept the record alive. Everyone did fantastically on time. Amazing. Okay, so new era ADR. ADR is advanced dispute resolution, alternative dispute resolution, right?
Correct.
Okay. So that's things like arbitration and mediation.
Correct.
So is it both? Is it arbitration and mediation?
Yeah, we have several different products on our platform, or several different iterations of the platform. Mediation is one. We've got a couple different flavors of arbitration depending on how quick the parties want to get through, and then a hybrid type of product that kind of marries mediation and arbitration together.
Okay, so what's your edge on arbitration to the American Arbitration Association?
So the American Arbitration Association, I want to pick on them specifically, but a lot of these traditional arbitration associations have been around for 100 years. And in that time, because they've been developed by and the rules have been written by lawyers, generally a lot of that has been self-serving, as anybody who's been in a dispute might know. And so, sure, this is to answer this question. So how are we different?
Kind of seems like the same, answer.
Right. And so we've scaled back and started from ground zero, as to say, what's the minimum that we can do to allow the parties in this dispute to have due process and to have their day in court, to get in front of a neutral party and make their case and get a decision, and then get out and get back to business and get back to growth, instead of providing for a stack and volumes of procedures that have to get through and that lawyers can take advantage of and drag out the system. We don't allow for any of that. We're also 100% virtual is the other piece too. So entirely online, there's no time or expense wasted in shipping boxes across the country and flying witnesses around. So are we targeting small claims? Like no, actually, I wouldn't say that we're targeting them. We're actually, what we're targeting is what we're calling the middle market of disputes. So what we're looking for is that, call it just above small claims, maybe 10 to 15,000 up to a few million, which it's those disputes that businesses face where they're really hard pressed to see if it's worth it to go to court. It's pretty easy to know whether or not you're going to pursue a $5,000 claim in court or not for a business. But if it's $50,000, $100,000, $500,000, and you know you're going to spend $500,000 in court, that's what we're trying to solve. So then instead of spending $500,000 to collect $500,000, you spend $30,000 or less on our platform.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, the court system, if anyone's been in it, whether you're an attorney or not, you realize that something must be broken. Like, how are we still working with paper filings for most things? How does it still take 2 years to get before a judge, right? To have your case heard? How is it so damn procedural, so many hurdles to jump, right? And that's just not right, right? Everyone at some point or another is going to want justice.
Exactly. Yeah. There's an access to justice component, and we're just really trying to make and democratize the entire system and make it a lot easier for disputes to just pull through.
Amazing. Okay. Appreciate you coming out, Shane. We're going to pull you down. We're going to pull up a screen back up to show that QR code again. And we're going to probably take a 5, maybe 7 minute break. Actually, why don't you let me do it, Brian? I got this here. All right, everybody, let's scan that code. The URL should be at the bottom of this YouTube video. And if it's not, we'll throw it in the comments right now in a little bit if the QR code doesn't work for you for whatever reason. I apologize, I did miss a couple of questions for Shane, but you only had a couple seconds left anyway. Just get rid of that banner. All right. If it's not up there yet, guys, we will share a link to vote in the YouTube video. All right. To bridge this little gap, or to give 5 minutes for everyone to cast their votes. I'm going to play a little video here of Chicago that I took myself with a new drone that I've been playing with. So here it is. Let me know what you think. All right. Definitely need to give it some more time here. So I'm not going to bore you with any more talking. We'll find another video here to fill it with.
Founders Live is the global venue for modern entrepreneurs, especially during these very challenging times. The direct impact of COVID-19 is currently being felt around the world, and it could get worse before it gets better. We are here to help you through these challenging times by connecting you to the people, information, and resources meant to move you forward as you start your next project.
We see an opportunity to bring the resources and capital and connections to the people that need it and the people that can use it, no matter where they live in the world. My honest opinion is, no matter what the economic climate is in the world, Founders Live can be important. In the good times, when it's booming, we're here to help grow companies and have them access capital that's flowing around the world and really be a fun, great event and global platform that powers entrepreneurship. In the tough times, we actually think we can be the answer, given the fact that if people are actually getting laid off and unemployment starts rising, well, the choice to start their own business is front and center, and Founders Live is right there to help them grow. I believe the secret sauce of Founders Live lies in the combination of these three words: inspiration, education, and entertainment. Inspiration is rooted in the energy and the passion that every single attendee has. The education is the information that we're bringing to people that they otherwise couldn't find. Founders Live Online helps solve entrepreneurs' daily challenges. If you have a question that you're just wondering, like, I don't know what to do here, you simply need to just type it into Founders Live and someone else will answer it right there for you. And the entertainment is the fun. We believe business should be fun, we believe it should be casual, and we believe it should be inspirational. Founders Live is the perfect place for you to connect with other entrepreneurs and to be inspired.
All right, guys. It is time to announce our winner. Probably a little short on that 7-minute mark, but I think it is a decisive enough victory here where I can call it. If there are any challenges, please take it up with the U.S. Supreme Court and don't riot. Just try to do it politically. All jokes. Here we go. Blowout Technologies. Congratulations, Manit. Let's bring you back on stage.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mark.
Hey, yeah, no problem. You got a ton of votes, man. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I did share I did share the YouTube link with a lot of my friends. But thank you.
That. Yeah, we're definitely asking everyone too. We want definitely a following. Want people to know about Founders Live and interact here and benefit from this. All right.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, so much.
Cool.
And if you guys want to learn more about Blowout, I'd be in the after live founding. I'd be in the room to talk.
Okay, one question I do want to throw out here as the winner, you have everyone's attention right now. We definitely want to hear what you need most right now. How can we help you as a community of founders? How can we help you grow? What's the next stage for you?
So definitely word of the word out there should go for marketing of our product. So we want more word of mouth marketing actually. And definitely we are actually also raising money right now for our seed funding to grow nationally. And right now we have 150 organizations up on Blowout, and our end of year goal is to have around more than 10,000 organizations. So the sooner we raise money, the sooner we reach there. But yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, Manit, we definitely hope you stick around for the networking after hour. People will be wanting to talk to you. It's exciting stuff.
Thank you.
I'm gonna post it in the comments right now, just in case anyone missed it anywhere. And why don't we transition this event over there? If anyone has any questions, go ahead and post them in the comments. I'll stick around, but then in a couple minutes, we'll just transition on over there. Sound good?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks everyone for coming. I appreciate it. I hope to see you next time. You did just give us your email, so we will be emailing you next time we have an event here in Chicago. So thank you for that, and we will expect you to be in attendance. Amazing.